So in this lesson, we're going to be introducing job order costing, or job costing as some might refer to it. And we're going to be covering 6 key points. Number 1, why businesses need costing systems. Number 2, what job costing is. Number 3, when job costing is used. Number 4, job costing versus process costing. Number 5, cost included in a job. And then lastly, we're going to chat about the job cost sheet. So let's start by chatting about why do businesses need costing systems. So businesses need to know how much it costs to produce the goods that they sell, right? Because if they know how much it costs to produce the goods that they sell, they'll be able to know whether they're making a profit or a loss from the goods that they're producing and selling. And knowing how much it costs to produce the goods that you're selling can help you in terms of setting the right price for your products. And lastly, it can also help you control costs, because if you know where you're incurring the cost, then you can be better be able to control the cost, because you know where you're incurring those costs. So without costing systems, businesses are making decisions blindly. So let's speak about what is job costing. So job costing is basically a method used to calculate the cost of a specific job or order. So each job is treated separately. Job costing is used when the products are customized. Each order is different. Cost can be traced to a specific job. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you run a construction company. The houses that you build for people will not be identical in nature. They're going to depend on the customer specifications and the requirements of that specific project or that house that you're building. So you can't cost all those houses the same, because they're not going to consume the resources in the same way. Each of them is going to consume resources in its own specific way, because the products are customized and each order is different depending on the customer specifications. So you can't cost all those houses the same. Hence why we have job order costing, to say each job is treated separately and then we cost the specific job or order. So the key idea of job costing is basically each job has its own cost. We accumulate direct material cost, direct labor cost, manufacturing overhead cost for each job individually. So we don't average across all the jobs. We accumulate cost for each job individually. So we must be able to trace how much of the resources, of how much of the cost did each job consume. So let's chat about the difference between job order costing and process costing. So job order costing, each job is different. We spoke about this. Each job is different. Usually the goods are customized. Process costing, the products are identical. You might not have done process costing, but the most important part to understand is how job order costing works. To say each job is different. In process costing, the products are identical. In job order costing, the costs are tracked per job. In process costing, the costs are average across the products that are produced. In job order costing, it's custom production. The products that are produced are unique in nature, depending on the job. However, process costing is usually for mass production. To give you an example of job order costing is when we make custom desk, right? Let's say we produce custom desk. Customers can come to us and say, hey, we want 50 desks for our office. We need them designed in this way, this way, this way, this way. So job order costing would be more appropriate. Process costing is when we are manufacturing identical products, maybe bottled water, right? So we are manufacturing those bottles. All of them are the same, meaning that we can average the cost across all the products that we producing. So that's the difference. However, it's really important to understand the job order costing element for this lesson. So cost included in a job, I've already hinted at this. Each job includes direct material, which is material used in the job. right? So there are costs incurred for direct material. There's direct labor, which are workers that are working directly on the job. If we're speaking about building houses, construction company, the people that are actually building the house, that are hands-on, then that's direct labor cost. And then we have manufacturing overheads. These are indirect costs supporting the job, right? We can't directly trace them to the products. However, they are costs that are incurred for the jobs. Let's say electricity, for example. We can't trace it to a specific job. However, we still incur it. So we need to find a way to allocate those costs to the specific jobs. But we're going to speak about the allocation later. However, you need to understand that these are the three type of costs that are included in a job, right? Or in job order costing. So these are same components as the product cost. So if you did the cost and cost behavior module or costs, you'll realize that these are the same costs that make up a product cost. But now we track them per job. So if you haven't done the cost and cost behavior course, you can go complete that course as well, so that you have a good foundation of management accounting and the different types of costs and how they behave. However, in a nutshell, these are the three types of costs that are included in each job. So we have the job cost sheet. So the job cost sheet is basically used to record all costs for a specific job, right? So basically how much each job consumed in terms of cost. So we track the material, the labor, and the overheads in this job cost sheet to say this specific job consumed this much material, this much labor, this much overheads. Therefore, here's the total cost for the job, right? So that's the job cost sheet. We're going to speak about it more on the next lesson as well. So just to summarize this lesson, today we learned that job costing tracks cost per job. It's used when the products are customized. Each job has its own cost, and costs include direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overheads. And lastly, job cost sheets are used to record costs for each specific job.